Welcome to the buymeacoffee.com/James Poe Artistry, the coffee tips page that supports my James Poe Artistry creative productions and work. See also jamespoeartistry.online. Hello, Perceptive Readers. This is a James Poe Artistry consultant moment. Today, we're going to talk about along the lines of actually mental health and resolving of conflicts and problems. Now, when it comes to mental health, it's all involved how we feel, from our diet, you see, to also what we know, um, you know, between right and wrong. As like I said, as far as what we know and according to our conscience, and it's also has to do with still our personality as well. So you have all those factors: our physical, our mental, our spiritual. You see, which I'm taking for granted that we know the emotions are automatically involved with that. And since the emotions are automatically involved as well with our mental health, so when it does come to resolving problems and conflicts, what we have to keep in mind is, there's a statement, and people over the years have said this quite a bit, that you see, pointing, you see, pointing. I'm not pointing, but I'm saying it normally pointing to you. You don't get to say whether you hurt somebody or not. You don't get to say how, or really argue against how you made a person feel. Have you heard those sentiments expressed? And what I'm going to say when it comes to resolving problems, though, okay, if that is really the case, then make sure when it comes to resolving the issue that the person is still reasonable enough, able to manage their own emotions enough, you see, to still be able to deal with the facts that you see of the situation. Um, and the reason why I'm emphasizing that is because when you still look at the facts of the situation that may have caused the discrepancy or the hurt feelings, you may still find out that, guess what? I can see the difference between whether this was really intentional to hurt the person or not. See, I've even used examples from the Bible that's one of the reasons why they had the cities, the sanctuary cities, because a person could actually end up even killing somebody, and God knew that. And yet, it wasn't intentional that they killed that person. You see? And so there's different other scenarios. But see, that's the whole thing about with everyday mundane interactions, where even dire hurt feelings come from this situation or that situation, even relationships. Sometimes I actually uh, have read, have been around, and still see reports about divorces. And boy, I tell you what, to see the way that persons will go after another person at times, you see, when the relationship didn't work out through the divorce or what have you, it's almost like great day. I've seen, some of the wealthy spouses, they were generous as I don't know what, reasonable as I don't know what. And yet, one spouse may still end up going after the other, or, now going through the divorce or in the divorce, may go after that person as if that person was their worst enemy. And as if during the time that they were together, that they really didn't, as if they never had wonderful times at all together. I'm not here to, to judge that. But the point is, some wonderful times were had during those unions. And then, yes, when stuff goes downhill, then, it can be all the way up to a year or more. Sometimes with persons just now, they then are at each other's throats. And then they end up going their separate ways. But the whole point is, why would, you want to put a spouse in such a situation, now divorcee or whatever, where they could never find happiness again? Would you want to wish that on somebody that you dearly loved and said you would give your life for? And now that, the relationship is over, now all of a sudden it's almost like you're trying to leave the person destitute, can't do anything. That's just something to think about in logical thinking. But see, I'm still going and talk one more step further about with mental health. And when there's misunderstandings, because remember I told you as humans, the Bible does say that knowledge puffs up, but love builds up. And there's so much knowledge today that deals with the human psyche, the way that we're made up. And, we talked about that quite a bit, on spirituality and everything. And the thing about it is, and, I told you this knowledge makes you feel confident. It makes you feel good about yourself. And I want to emphasize that the knowledge can even make you feel good about yourself. And being human, what we want to always keep in mind is that we don't get the feeling so good with ourselves at times that then even some of our feeling good, our own joy, has to be because we're so much more intelligent than somebody else, so to speak. Maybe we're more perfect than someone else or what have you. We don't want to get into that situation, because I'm going to tell you something. And this is why this is James Paul Artist, your consultant moment. I had a situation where, a lot of us probably had situations like this before. But I had a situation one time where a person was upset with me. And the thing about it is, I'm telling you, in my mind, I had number of flowers always going around in my in my head, to use that expression, about just how I felt about that person. But one day, this person had been going through a lot. And that's what I mean where I talk about of people that get, what they call it, hungry. They're not hungry, they're hangry, or whatever. I mean, angry because they're hungry. Whatever. But the whole point is, so many things can affect where some days a person just said, look, I ain't putting up with the mess no more, even if you're not doing it on purpose. You see, people, we can get like that. And so anyway, one day a person had actually expressed an upsetness actually with me. And I was surprised. And what happened is, when that person expressed their upsetness, oh man, they were no short of words on my idiosyncrasy. See, because that's what it boiled down to. See, and that's what I mean. Everything that the person was named was really just idiosyncrasies. But at the same time, those same idiosyncrasies, see, when I thought about it logically, yeah, I came to the conclusion that, okay, I guess the person really just doesn't like this or that, or what have you. I've even had, and this is in another scenario, but I'm coming back to this one. I've even had times where you may even think your favorite TV show, your favorite star, your favorite singer, or what have you, you may be playing that person's music anytime you get in the car, whatever, not realizing that the person beside you is still just tolerating you when you're even playing that music. Isn't that interesting? And so when you find out that maybe you and that person don't jive in this way or that way, then you may find some piano music or what have you. But see, at the very least, you already know. Oh, even though this bring me joy, I know not to share this joy with you. If it just depends upon you. Same thing with sipping wine or what have you. You may have some persons. You start off with a dinner. The next thing you know, you end up with a cocktail or two. But not everybody you can do that with, and so you don't do it. But let's get right back to being able to resolve problems. See, I'm telling you this for a reason, because even though what the person related was, at least from my perception, and from from strong perception, strong view, sound view, the person was still, even with what I did to upset them, still had no ill intentions at all. You see? And if a person is, once again, keeping their emotions together, you see, and being reasonable, then hopefully they can at least be able to see that amount when they feel somebody has hurt them in this way or that way. Now, that helps to resolve problems. And see, the reason why I'm going to say that is because if I wanted to go a step further, with just my little idiosyncrasies or what have you, wouldn't it be a shame that because now the person said that they don't like the way I do this or do that or what have you, where all of a sudden, because I still feel like, man, this ain't nothing but just a little, small little thing or here or there, what have you. But guess what? If all of a sudden I wanted to retaliate, and then I start saying that person is just crazy, you see what I'm saying? Just because that person happened to be very, very sensitive to this matter or not, see, that doesn't help the situation. And that's what I see today in conclusion with a lot of persons when they start getting into mental health and they learn about these different things about how the mind works and everything. And sometimes it's like they're jumping on people and trying to make persons look like they're crazy. And really, they're just going through a whole range of human emotions. And because of life at times, remember when I said sometimes people go crazy because you have a honest person just in a very dishonest world or dishonest situation that they've been around too long. And remember, when you be around certain people who like to play games and don't know when to stop, and the type of people, and you have a lot of people like that who are bullies, that you tell them something you don't like, oh my goodness, they do more than double down or triple down on it instead of just being kind and considerate of your space. You see, not okay, if you're around or in their space, then you know what? You let them be in peace. But you got some persons that just purposely try to always mess you up. And you see, in that way, and that's what I'm just trying to say again. All people who get so upset or get tired of people or what have you, become loners, they're not crazy. They're not sick in the head. If anything, it was their soundness of mind to realize, see, they know when to say when. They know when, as we used to say, stop playing so much. But you got a lot of people that they try to make it seem like because you're not being a jokester or jackal all day, every day, that something is wrong with you and your personality. When all the same, some of these same people who are being diagnosed this way or finally blew their top another way, that really in reality, if you just respect their space and time or what have you, and you see what I'm saying, like we should do, it's love a neighbor, you wouldn't push them that far in the first place. And it doesn't mean that they're crazy. And I'm going to tell you something else. It doesn't mean that they're paranoid and paranoid schizophrenia, when in realities, the bullies do function exactly in the way that they do, that they may describe at times. And then when you have these other persons who have hidden what they were, what type of personality they are, the type of games they play all the time, mind games, and you see that sometimes this person may say, and that's what I mean, when you keep your emotions in check, sometimes you say, oh, I can see how the person feel this way about, you see, my idiosyncrasy or my taste in this way. So I'm not doing it to doing other stuff to make them upset, but I just know I can't even, I can't do this around them. Believe it or not, I've even had people who didn't care too much for my science fiction type of views at times, and I just made sure that and that's me, that I just knew not to talk about it around them, since they weren't into it in that way. And that's why I say again, people should still understand then that when it comes to, if they really want to relax, let their hair down or party, then they shouldn't be upset that then the person still goes along and hang with somebody who would appreciate them expressing themselves in this way or that way. Have a wonderful day, Perceptive Readers.